Hello, you
before.
guys. Welcome to the In Between Pages with James Lott Jr. I am James Lott Jr. We're in between the pages of a new movie called VEX. VEX, the movie, which is really good. We got three people who are involved in this film, and one, of course, is the reason why we're here. I mean, we would not be sitting here on this call if it wasn't for him. He has like 10,000 titles. So let's start it again. Writer, director, producer, editor, stars Detective Michael Knight. He also does craft services. He does casting, coffee. Dwayne Parker, how are you?
I'm great, James. Thank you so much for having us. I appreciate you. You are, like I said before, like the first stop for everything, man. You're the best interviewer that I've ever had. So, you know, I appreciate you. I hope the other people don't hear that now and not invite me anywhere. But James, I really appreciate you, man. You're really A1.
You're my brother, so it's good. And I have my VEX chain.
Hey. Nice.
I'm wearing this like flowery shirt. I wish I was in the Caribbean right now. It's another story. I'm wearing another story.
Palm trees.
Like, hello, thank you. I want to be in the Caribbean right now, laying down somewhere. So that's what I want to do. Anywhere in the Caribbean. And the next person, the one that's that smooth voice and has a beard I am jealous of in the corner.
Oh,
Fury, Lawrence Sturdivant. Hi, Lawrence.
Yes. How you doing? Pleasure.
Great voice. So seriously, great voice.
Thank you.
We're gonna work it out.
I get that a lot. I'm trying to, you know, dabble into this world of voiceover work. So soon come.
Smart. As a person who has a voice, I'm telling you. Hello. And a guy down there in the corner, I think he's my new brother, I think, down here. We were laughing before it came on. We had a lot of the same thoughts. He played these are all bad guys, folks. Just tell you, these are bad guys. All nice people in real life. And so I'm happy to meet him too. Ryan Shaw. Hi, Ryan.
Hello, James. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure to have you guys on here. Thanks for being on, you guys. I always ask, and Dwayne already touched on the other day, when I ask you two, how are you doing during this strange shelter-at-home kind of situation? You can start with you, Lawrence.
I'm doing well, thankfully. Besides being an artist, I do work in corporate America, and my job is considered essential. So I am able to work from home, and my daughters are with me, so they do their schoolwork, Daddy does his work, so they keep me balanced. So I'm doing well.
How old are your daughters?
12 and 8. They'll be 13 and 9 this year.
Okay, very good. So are you also a teacher now too, or just overseer?
Yes, I am.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Woo, congratulations.
Manager, you know, gotta get these schedules right. Morning time, they want to sleep late because they went to bed late. Like, it's not how this works. Accountability, you know, you got responsibility, getting to play after. So
that's right.
They got it.
God bless you doing that.
Thank you.
Ryan, how are you doing, Ryan?
I'm doing great, James. Honestly, I didn't even notice there was anything going on because I haven't changed my lifestyle at all. I work at home. I don't leave my house. I'm a worthless member of society. Oh. But, you know, I like to think I'm on my way to being a great actor.
That's an answer. Of all the answers I've asked people over the last 5 weeks, that actually is the most original answer I've heard in a while. I like that. I didn't think anything at all. Because we are at home, everybody, and as you see, we're using Zoom. Why didn't I buy stock in Zoom before this happened? I don't know what's wrong with me. We're all using Zoom
did.
to talk. I should have. I missed the boat.
Hey.
Who knew Zoom was going to be the place? Zoom and IG. Those are the two places that everybody thought. I'm like, I missed it on that one. Before we talk about the film, VEX, which you can see all right at the backgrounds, all the backgrounds of VEX, before we talk about that film, we just discovered we're all, with the three of us are musicians, talking about music and stuff. And I actually want to get a little bit into your music a little bit. So, Lawrence, what do you do that's musically inclined?
I love the word artist because I feel like it encapsulates the entire essence of music. So believe it or not, I used to be in a boy group, Voices of Ecstasy, back in the day, lead singer, writer. Oh. Then I was also in a rock band for 3.5 years, played guitar, saxophone, lead singer. And I rap group, freestyle, you name it. Just music is just me. I love all types of music.
Wait a minute, you said saxophone?
Saxophone, keys.
Saxophone. Wow.
Played for 13 years. So all the males in my family actually play keys by ear, but me. My oldest daughter actually can play any song she hears on the radio by ear, so she has that gene that skipped me. So I'm glad it still runs in my family.
You know what's funny?
James is in shock.
I am. I'm very impressed. I'm very impressed because I my keyboard's back here and my stuff. I play. I play keyboard and drums. But I think it's interesting because my family, they're not that musically inclined. Like nobody else is doing it really. I mean, I have an uncle who makes drums out of trees. He's a drummer. He's a big drummer here in Los Angeles. He's known as Drummer Lott, our last name. And he's actually, I have one of his drums. So I wish I could pull it out. It's way back there. But he actually takes tree bark and trunks and makes drums out of them.
Wow.
I kind of followed him a little bit with that, and but nobody else in my family. Everybody else is like tone deaf; they can't do nothing. So they're like, "James, you do the music in the family." Okay, sure, whatever. But I was thinking about Lizzo the other day, and how she played the flute.
I just got turned on to Lizzo.
Oh, so I've been a fan of hers for years, but it's just kind of funny that when she starts pulling out the flute, and we were like, she's like, "Yeah, about it." I was, and I'm looking at the thing about you, Lawrence. It's like, people look at you and think you probably just do hip hop music. But you just said you were in a rock band, you're in a boy band. So it's like, it doesn't matter what you look like or where you come from. It's like, you can be anything, right?
It doesn't. I'll tell you the funny story with the rock thing. One of my good friends, he was the lead guitarist, and they had their little trio prior to me, and he knew I wrote, so he kept asking me to write him songs. So I wrote their first 3, and then when he would send it back to me to playback, their bass player at the time was their lead singer, and I'm hearing it, and as a writer, you write a song with a certain feel that you want to perhaps either hear or you want it to be better than how you wanted it to be. So every time he would play it back to me, I just, my eardrums were hurting because the pitch was just off and I just didn't feel what I wrote. So eventually, he's a good friend of mine. He's like, "Why don't you do it?" And I'm like, "You know what, why not?" So I went to one of their practices and the bass player was singing. I was like, "Do you mind if I just give you an idea of what I meant when I wrote it?" He's like, "Sure." So I had him start from the top and we did the song. They all just looked at him and they're like, "We need you to be the lead singer." And I needed their buy-in, obviously, because it was a team that they were already created before me. And then from there, we took off. We opened up for many large artists in this moment, Point. They actually asked us to go on tour with them, and that kind of is why we broke up. But that's a whole other story. Yeah. But yeah, we had a good run. It was fun. And no one expected me to be a lead singer of a progressive metal rock band. They were like, as a salesperson, I would always talk to everybody. We'd go to biker bars. I'm the only black guy there. And after they call our name, our group name, Gallium, I go to the stage and they're looking at me and they're like, "Is this the guy that we were just, wrapping it up with?" And then, boom, I just hit them. But I won them before I won them over, and it was always a beautiful thing. Music is music. And if you really are a fan of music, you don't see color. It's just a vibe. It's a feeling.
When I went to see the Rolling Stones in 1989 for Steel Wheels tour, King's X opened for them. And then I went to another one and Living Color opened for them. And we're talking 2, like legendary black rock metal bands. There are not that many other than that. There's a few others, but like those were like, I saw them both in concert. And as a young black man, I was like 21 at the time, 21 at the time. I was just like, wow, there's reflection of part of me on there. Because I sing out the Sunset Strip all the time in the 80s, and I saw a lot of things. And I saw everybody from Rat to Motley Crue to, I saw everybody back in the day. But to actually be there and see black rock guys playing good music, this happens if they're black. This happens if they're black.
Right.
But they're playing music, you're like, oh, okay. And I was sold ever since. So that's very cool. I think it's very cool. Because music is music. That's what it's all about.
It is.
So now, Ryan, what do you do?
Yes. I do exactly what you would assume by looking at me. I sing and play acoustic guitar. I play with some people. Mostly open mic, singer, songwriter, cover stuff. I play a little with my girlfriend. She's the Harlan to the Shaw, which is why it's not Ryan Shaw, it's Harlan. Okay. So we're kind of like a duo team. But I've been doing it since I was about 17 or 18, and while I was in the Army, I really started writing, recording my own stuff, and this is long before I even thought or considered that I could actually be in front of a camera. So I always kind of planned to be, a part of the arts without, corrupting that camera with my stupid face.
Your face isn't stupid.
Stop, James.
Stupid. I say you're my new brother. You're not stupid. You're not stupid. I don't have a stupid brother. I actually have a couple stupid brothers.
You got it, brother.
But no, but so I mean, first of all, when did you start playing guitar? When did you start playing guitar?
I started. I dabbled like when I was 16. You know, I learned like the intro to Stairway to Heaven and Come As You Are. You know, the standard, Smoke in the Water. And then actually, like, my mom went away for about a year, and I had like nothing but time on my hands. So I like really started diving in. I taught myself to sing, taught myself the chords, and I kind of just like stuck to covers and everything until like, I don't know, something snapped in me while like third year in the Army. I was like, I don't know if I could just get yelled at and run around shooting guns at people. So I thought maybe I should actually like sit down and try to do something with this stuff. And I was inspired by, you know, the life I had lived so far at that point. So I would say I have been really playing, and I only tell you this detail because if I tell you I've been playing since 16, you expect so much more than what I can give you. But so really, I think I've been hitting it hard, learning the fundamental principles of music theory. I took shrooms in a weekend and kind of just sat down with a music theory book and kind of just really dived into it. So maybe about like actually being a musician about 6-7 years.
Okay, very good. I will say something just for folks that are who may not know this. So I did an edible once. Well, I mean, I've done edibles more than once, but I did an edible once. I wrote a song on it. I never thought I could write a song. And actually a song came to me, and I was like, oh, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Not
Almost easy.
Inspiration.
much easier. Okay. I mean, I just want to say that, folks. I mean, you know, or try it at home. One to see. I'll do it. Okay, so then both of you guys, you're doing music, you're doing other things, you have day jobs, whatever. So how did you get into acting? Now we're going to lead up to VEX. So like, how did you get into acting? Either one would start.
I'll start that one. I was actually working for PepsiCo for 13 years.
Wow.
High corporate role. But ironically, I was also going through my own, I guess you can say, evolution. I was going through a divorce at the time. You know, those moments where you feel like your world is crashing, but you're really just going through a rebirth. And that was my experience. I've always been in the music world. I've always been an actor, like in theater arts, communication classes in college, undergrad. So finally, my company, after me already feeling like I needed to get out, actually hit me with a blessing saying, we're going through a reorganization. You have two options. You can get demotion in position, no change in pay, or we'll give you a severance. And at that time, I just felt like that was a sign for me. So I took the severance, being with PepsiCo for as many years as I was. My severance was like 8 months with the same pay. And then they compensated me for my company car, all that nonsense.
Yeah.
And I took that opportunity as an opportunity to just dive head in as an actor. So my first month I went to an acting school in Long Island where I was living. After my first class, the second week, the teacher asked me to come back. I came back. Little did I know he had an agent waiting for me. They signed me that day, and the rest was history. I've been constantly working. I'm very blessed to have that opportunity.
Wow, that's good. That's really good. And Ryan, how about you?
Same. It's very, very similar, actually. So while I was in the Army, it's kind of same. I grew up loving art, loving music, never kind of thought I could ever be a part of that world. My third or fourth year in the military, I had a mental breakdown. I spent some time in a behavioral clinic where we kind of formed a band, did our own version of music therapy. And I kind of rekindled my love of music in the military. I might as well use it to go to school on their, since, you know, they'll pay for it on the GI Bill. Yeah. So I went to college. I was looking for music, and then when I go to a 4-year, then I'll change it to music. So I literally flipped the book, and it landed on theater. And I was like, oh, you know, I was writing as a kid. I went through a long period where I just loved to write stories, horror stories, Edgar Allan Poe type stuff. And I thought that kind of encompasses music, acting, and writing. And I thought, I'll do it for a while to support my music career. And as I did it, I kind of fell in love with it. But I was still like at a dead end job. I was in a complacent relationship with my girlfriend at the time. And while we were in her home country, her visa got canceled. And so, I kind of like lost my girl. I lost my job as a result because it kind of went nutty again. And my sister introduced me to her old friend I knew. He owns a company that they do videography. They tape actors' auditions. So I started working there. I got really just dumbstruck by working with all these great actors, getting to tape and edit, and kind of like learning the ins and out of like auditioning, self-tapes, things like that. And I met the actual now love of my life there. We started dating, and she really pushed me to try acting. And at the same time, I had a class in my black box theater class, and an actor had dropped out. So my teacher was like, "Hey, you want this role?" And I was like, "Oh God." So I did it, and I told my girlfriend not to come, and don't you dare bring anyone. Brought the manager. He signs me like on the spot.
Oh, wow.
I tried to get out of it so many times, but he was able, with like no credit to my name. And I'm not gonna lie, I think veteran helps. So he pushed me as a veteran. So I kind of just like fell in backwards into this thing that they tell you is so esoteric and so impossible to do it. But it really is like Law said, just taking that leap of faith. And I think you always get rewarded for it.
Yes, well, thank you for your service, first of all.
Oh, thanks. Of course.
Yeah.
Seriously.
That's my loaded answer for that.
I know you went crazy, but still, thank you for you went this stuff. So I mean, still, you did more than I did. So congrats.
I barely did it.
But now I'm looking at both guys. I'm looking at both these two guys, and I'm like, how old are you people? Because I'm like, you both have seen a lot of life.
What do you mean, you people?
And look at you people. You people with blonde hair.
Those white Puerto Rican people?
Puerto Rican too?
Yeah.
So am I.
Blonde eyes, blonde hair, blue eyes. You can't tell.
We come in all colors and shades. We do Boricua. I love it.
I do. Now, I will write any kind of genre of music, and if you need me to act, I will act under any shade you need me. Just put me under a tan.
I have Spanish songs out, so I do songs in Spanish.
Nice.
Hey, I'm trying to relearn. I'm a bad Puerto Rican.
I'll have to send you some. You can hear my Spanish songs.
There we go.
But look at both you guys, because you both look so young to me. I mean, I'm old, so don't look at me. But you guys are so young. But you packed a lot of life in there. Both of you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See the crackers. I'm like, now we know black don't crack, so we know that already.
That's true.
You know what else doesn't crack though? Happiness.
What?
I'll tell you. I see pictures of myself. I hate to say this because my kids could probably hear me, but when I was married, I see pictures of me then and now, and some of my friends are like, dude, it's like you hit and found the fountain of youth. And I tell them, the fountain of youth for me has just been living my truth and being happy. And I don't want to kill it, but you don't really see it until you take those time travels back and you see pictures of yourself and you can remember what you were going through certain times. And you're like, wow, like I really was stressed out versus now. And happiness is everything, I tell you. People, love yourselves.
I agree.
Love yourselves.
Absolutely
Be you.
Chill. Trust me. You seem relaxed. We don't have to worry about you at all. Yeah, relax.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we're at the point of VEX. Okay, so we got your backstory. We got what's going on. Now, how did VEX come into either your orbits? I'm gonna ask Dwayne why he picked you guys, but how did you guys get into the orbits of this movie? Let's go first.
The nice thing about it is within the acting community, which I love so much, everyone knows each other in one way or another. So Dwayne and I actually met on a movie that we did a couple of years ago. And just from the table read, we're reading, and I'm hearing him talk about this show, Thunder.
Yes, Sunday, yes.
And as an actor on a play that I did in Queens, I'm like, my boy Bernard is in that movie. He was like, oh my goodness, I know Bernard. So we just connected instantly besides that. And I've known him ever since. And when he hit me up saying that he had this project that he wrote that he wanted me to be a part of, I was like, dude, where and when? So because it's just, I love.
Before we get to Ryan, so Dwayne, why'd you pick him?
Yeah, I'm a big energy person. So when I met him at the movie, when we worked together in Fugue, you know, we were actually brothers in there. In the movie, even though we didn't like each other in the movie, but in the movie, he really had a good energy about him. He was serious. He's focused. I just liked his work ethic. And, you know, I knew that's what I needed when I did this film. People that are serious and you know, just want to bring 150% to any project that they're in. So I felt like he was perfect for what I wanted to bring to VEX. And yeah, he rocked it, you know.
Yeah,
I'm sure when you saw him, you
oh
hated
no,
him.
we'll get there. We're gonna get there in a second for us, I believe. But first, just saying why you picked him. I can tell he has great energy. I can tell. He has good energy. I can tell. Now, Ryan, how did it come to your orbit?
So I saw it on Actors Access, and I read the project, read the breakdown. I am also an energy guy, but it's kind of hard to go off that before you meet the person. But based on like the description and everything, I'm a huge sci-fi nerd, 80s kind of like I love Alien, I love Warriors,
Yes.
I just rewatched the trilogy. I'm like huge on that, like the professional stuff like that, just anything like kooky, crazy out there. And as like a guy with like a deep voice who has crazy hair and like, you know, I love playing psychos, I love playing bad guys. And I guess, you know, I had met Dwayne, so I submitted for it because I was like, this is awesome. And he gives me the main role to read for. And I was like, oh no, I'm not ready. I don't know if I'm ready to be a good guy. I'm so used to playing like the last time I tried to go out for a good guy, the guy called me back. He's like, I need you to take this evil rapist role. And I'm like, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So I did the good guy audition. I poured my heart on it because I really wanted to be like a part of this project. It really spoke to me. And of course, I kind of have expected it. Dwayne writes back and he's like, hey man, I loved your audition. Would you mind reading for this evil bad guy? Hell yeah. And as I read Floyd, and I didn't think I could love anybody more than I could love Knox's character. But yeah, Floyd spoke to me, you know, especially I had watched Kill Bill not long ago, which also it kind of rings true in that Kill Bill. Me too. And I love Bud's role. I love that combination between like the psychopath that like James Remar plays in The Warriors, that he's just a wild cannon. But I also like the loyalty and heart and camaraderie that Bud has to Bill in Kill Bill. And those like were the two character inspirations for me. I was like, I would love to just fuse that because I feel like that's like the two movies that speaks to me for like VEX. And he hired me. I met him. I was like, I felt like I was amongst family already. Like me and Law started talking. We had to be shushed a couple of times. We were just talking everything from the get-go. So like, I love the set. I love the people. And I was just like, I would do this with them forever. This is kind of the stuff I wanted to get into. I never wanted to do much Oscar bait per se. I've always kind of wanted to like stick with family and people who like want to do something that speaks from the heart, not trying to like gain anything except for making something beautiful together with like kindred spirits.
I've tried to explain to people because I've been in Hollywood 13 years and I've seen many things and done things. And I try to explain to newer people. A lot of times when people get jobs and work a lot, it's because they're good on set with other people. They get along with other people. They do their job. It is sometimes who you like to work with. That's how you get hired. I'm sorry, but that's how you get hired.
Almost more than talent, man, I would say.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You're cool with that.
But if you're talented, good for you also. If you're fun to work with, professional, and talented, then that's great. And so a lot of times, I get jobs all the time because just they like being around me. And I said, but then I do my job at the same time. Like I don't just show up and go, oh, okay, you just like me. Okay. Yeah. I do my job. I tell people, you have to have a great attitude. You have to have a great attitude. And people notice that. You both just kind of mention that. It's like, it's a big thing. You just have to. And so now, Dwayne, why'd you pick him?
Well, as you already heard, like he was up for the Tyson role. It was between him and Mark, and I was like really like fighting myself.
I'm trying to picture it.
Because they both like what I gave them that really extreme scene because the car scene, which you're familiar with.
Yes.
And I had them both do that scene. So both of them killed it and stuff. But I ended up going with him. I think I went with you more, Ryan, for the look, because you have that because Mark is a little bit more clean cut with his look, but what can you say? Like you already heard, like Ryan is amazing, man. And the fact when I saw these, military too, I knew he would bring. Like it was just like certain things because I looked at everybody's resume and again like what I said previously, I wanted to pick people who had some kind of physical abilities or had some kind of history within either the military or martial arts and stuff. And I knew Ryan would come and kill it, and he did. And you could see his athletic. He more so I think was the most athletic in the film. I was tired. That last scene that you saw there, James, I was dead tired, man. This guy was still flipping and rolling and stuff. I'm like, go ahead, man. So yeah, I would work with Ryan anytime. I told him that, man. He's just amazing. And Lott too, man. Lott is excellent. Both of them are top caliber people.
Well, it's funny because, like I said, I've seen the movie. And I was telling the other folks I interviewed yesterday, Kathleen, Craig, Landra, Brittany, and Mark, and Dwayne, I was a black person. I was screaming at my computer, like, no, wait, no, don't go over there. Wait, stop it. I was a real black person, screaming like, I was like, okay, James, stop being black and calm down. I totally did. I was screaming. You guys haven't seen it yet, and the way you put it together, there was many scenes where people, if you guys at home, when you're able to see this film, you'll be doing the same thing. There are a couple of twists in it. You're like, really? Like, really? Okay, you're gonna do that. So I was saying, you guys were involved. I'm gonna say this. I'm not gonna give it away. I'm just gonna, because you guys were there. You did it. It's that opening scene that gets me every time. It's that opening scene. And you guys are so mean. You guys are so, like, it's so brutal and mean. Like, what? Like, what am I watching? I'm like, okay. I'm like, okay. And then I was like, well, because now we know. Now I'm like, okay, well, now I got to see when Michael finds out, we got to see what happens there and what's going to happen from that. And then the journey begins. And it's very Kill Bill-esque, obviously. And I love that reference. And I was watching Kill Bill Volume 1 the other day. And I was watching what we've seen with Vivica and Uma. And I love that. I love that whole scene.
Yeah.
She walks in and the cereal and she pulls up there. I love the whole thing. So I said, okay, we're going to go on a journey. I mean, like, when you run, I was like, Dwayne's like one of the quietest people. Like, he's quiet. He's kind of, he's a little interesting. And now in this story, I'm like, this came out of him? This is really coming out of him? Okay. Oh, like, wow. So, I mean, so Ryan and Law, I mean, I can call you Law now. How is it playing bad guys? Obviously as an actor, it's a great difference because you guys clearly aren't bad guys in real life. But so what do you guys conjure up? I'm sure all of you have these tools to play these bad guys, baddies.
Ironically, if I look at my resume, probably 50% of my roles have been bad guys. And so up to the point of being even selected for this role, I guess I was already so used to it. And in life, we have bullies. You see enough movies to understand the bad guy. And for me, I always try to go a little bit deeper. So not everyone starts off as bad. So everyone has a motive or a reason behind it. So as an actor, I try to put that into the backstory and saying to myself, okay, I may not be your typical bad guy, but I'm doing something and there's a reason why I'm doing it. And that's the reason that I want to be portrayed in the film, even if other people may not think it's quote unquote right.
And you have a leading man face, folks. Come on, he's a leading man face. Hello. Somebody cast
me.
Hello.
Hey, appreciate that.
Buddy cop duo, you, me, Lore.
See,
hey.
I'd watch it. Why not? I'd watch it. I'm in.
Lethal Weapon reboot.
Beverly Hills Cop. either or.
Oh yeah, I was thinking Lethal Weapon. Either way. I'm gonna be Murtaugh this time.
I'm here for it. Totally. Now, Ryan, so how's it for you? Because you said you played bad guys. What's it like for you? You like just going crazy?
Yeah, I mean, it's so funny. Like me and Law were like brothers when we met because like we think so like-minded. It's the same. I'm a hippie, man. I spend a lot of time like thinking of existentialism, and my head's always in stupid places. And I think of good and bad energy. I think of like the yin and yang, the whole like universe and creation and like chaos and creation. And just that like symmetry and that harmony of good and bad that almost like blends it into that gray that people try to like see. You try to pierce that, the labeling, because, you know, with black and white, and I'm not trying to justify like, yeah, murder will be good or bad, but to see it as anything else but like kind of just the way things are, and things can be changed, but things can't be changed if we kind of stay on our side of the fence. You know,
Right.
it all is about being on the fence, not about on one side of that lawn or the other. And I want to marry. I consider my art to be ambassadorial. Like, I was always kind of the glue in friends that were otherwise would never hang out together. And I kind of want to bring that in my art. I kind of want to show like and talk about the things people are afraid to, controversial things, because like at the end of the day, like I want to change the world. I want to heal the world. I want to save the world. I feel like Bruce Willis. And I feel like the way to do it is to be that ambassador who makes like two warring nations meet and kind of try to understand the other person, that you can come to a compromise. And to explore like that darkness in humanity is like such a thing that people even to this day are receding and becoming so afraid of doing, that I think it's causing even more tension and more segregation than ever before. So yeah, I'd love to bring the world together, so we're all holding hands and smoking a joint, singing Kumbaya, and I think playing evil people is the way to do it.
Ryan 2024. Ryan 2024.
I love it. Like, I mean,
BP Lord.
So
That's exactly why I picked this guy. This guy is just amazing, man.
I know. I'm sold.
Him in love, man. Yeah,
I'm sold. My grandmother always was saying, she was like, the grass isn't greener on the other side. It's still grass has to be mowed.
Yeah, I like that.
I was like, okay, Granny. I was like, I was like, no, it's just, you still got to mow that lawn, so it's not greener. You still got to mow the lawn, so it still works. So I'll say, okay, Granny, rest in peace. I'll take that. So I asked the other two guys, Mark and Craig, and they just smiled and laughed and asked this question. I'm gonna ask you two the same question. So in between takes, when all you guys were together hanging out, were there any shenanigans you could talk about? They just started laughing. They didn't say nothing. They started laughing. everybody laughing. So started laughing. I'm like, okay, stays on the stage, I guess.
You know, I can't think of any shenanigans. I will say, like, the opening scene, it's funny, we're outside laughing, being all jovial, and then as soon as we're like action, we just serious mode. So that to me was comical. To be able to just like a flip of switch, go from just being ourselves into being these characters that folks will see and understand what I'm referencing. They'd be like, how in the world did they just get into that character? But without knowing the behind the scenes, that we were just laughing to the point, like Ryan said, that we were told that we were talking too loud because we were just having so much fun amongst each other. That's the only thing I can really think of.
Well, okay, well, I guess nobody's saying nothing.
So I have to tell you, James, I guess the reason why they're reacting this way is because I was really like a drill sergeant.
Like, no playing on the set.
It was just like, you know, yeah, we got to get it done. We got to get it done. You know, like time is money and stuff, and you know, I don't have
lighting issues,
time or money.
Everything going on. You have time for this shit. You got things going on. You can't be playing around. I get it, Dwayne. I get it.
Exactly.
That's why he's smiling down there. Like, yeah, there was no playing around.
Well, you know, it was a tight schedule, so you know, it would make otherwise. If we had all the time in the world, I'd be pulling pranks. I'm sure Law would. But it was fun because like it was fun like being transported to that world. Ever since I started acting, man, let me tell you, and I'm sure Dwayne could tell you the same thing as a soldier. There is almost zero difference between being on a set and being during like an excursion or AT or drilling in general. And so it really was fun to like feel like a kid again, do this like play pretend, meet like cool people, bond with them. Me and Law just like talking shit, having a good time, and then Dad come in like, get in the character, and like, you know, you could just deliver that, do an awesome take that kind of just justifies you getting to like be a silly little buddy. So I kind of love that challenge as an actor. You know, I'd rather do that. You know, I think I can bring the best of myself if I'm coming. I feel like I can bring that more because it's so obviously the polar opposite of who I am. It's clearer than if I'm just trying to stay this constant being. It's easier to see the other side than it is to see your own sometimes.
So now I talked to the others about this. I want to ask you guys the same thing about the choreography, the fight choreography and the choreography, even in the opening scene, because homeboy down here beat the S out of somebody in that scene. Out of poor grandpa. I'm like, he's having to play Scrabble, and then all of a sudden you just over there. Damn. Whatever. I was like, dang. I'm like, can I just play some Scrabble? I got a triple ward score. Like, you just messed up my game, my family. Out of it. And then taking his watch. You're like,
never let that go. Never let it go.
What was that like choreography wise? I mean, did you have to like really work with the other actor and go, okay, I'm gonna do this? I mean, how was it?
Well, I'll say it's just, again, the whole, like anything, building a relationship. So once Dwayne introduced all of us, once we got onto set, and I knew he's like, this is the guy you're going to be beating up, me and him instantly just started having a conversation, because we, you have to have a connection. And he has to understand where I'm coming from. I have to understand where he's coming from. And just knowing each other, it was one of those things where, well, this energy that I'm giving you, you're not going to take it personal, and you're going to receive it. So it just made it easier. So once they said action, we just went into it, and it was just beautiful. And after just being able to laugh about it, like, my bad, I almost really caught you there. But it was just one of those things where, again, that synergy just it starts so much before the camera starts rolling. So when the camera does start, it's just almost natural, even though that may not be my natural energy.
Yeah. And then Ryan, for you doing the fight scene, he said you had lots of energy. Were you just really into them? Were you just I love it.
That's my girl's fault. She started making me do Pilates and yoga. That's the only reason. Like, before that, I was like a chain smoker. I was just lazy and overweight and gross. But me and Dwayne came together, and he lies to you. He's in great shape. We know who he is. Like he's fit. You know, you've seen him on that.
Yeah, I don't even listen to him.
Yeah. His muscles have their own zip code.
Exactly.
Right.
Thank you.
So we came together, and it was funny because I was reading the script and I loved it, and like I knew he was playing Knight, but it never really occurred to me like we're gonna really end up fighting. And so when we came together, we worked out a choreography between the two of us, and it was like very influenced, like he said, watch John Wick, watch The Protector, and very like hard hitting, very real feeling. And I'm just like, oh shit, like I know my luck. I'm gonna be a guy who like kills my director on set. And I was like, I was terrified, but like I love that he's like me. He's like, I think we had like one routine where like I think I might have hit too hard or like a little too early, and I was like, oh god, don't replace me.
I'm fired.
No, man, no, like I want you to do that. Like don't pull back. Like if you feel it and it goes a little too much, because he's like me, man. I would rather take a real hit to the face for the art than take a smack and it's clearly like just pulled on camera. And so like I loved that about Dwayne, that we could work together, we could go rough on each other. Dwayne, he actually was tired, but he was the one who said again. I'm like, hell yeah, let's do it again. I was like, I got all this energy. He's like, yeah, man, you got great energy. And then I was like, thanks. And then I walked outside and collapsed of exhaustion.
Dwayne's like, I'm so tired. We got to do it one more time. Like, okay.
I'm like, yeah, no worries. Oh God, please let this be it. My knees are shattered.
That's so funny. That's crazy. No, I mean, this movie is really good, and it's and I tell people, what I say, you get the opening scene, you get a little setup, and then you go through this real journey. And I told Mark this, he was really a great leading man. I mean, he was a really good that role of Tyson. I mean, you made him call all kinds of emotions from beginning to end. And I thought, wow, you guys did a really good job in this film. Everybody did their parts. Like I said, maybe hate you guys and like this person. And I mean, I felt all the emotions, all the feels, they say. I felt them all watching this film. So thanks for your
that was the aim. So I'm happy that that came through.
So I mean, Dwayne, as you wrap,
they definitely
go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I was saying, go ahead.
Go ahead.
You're saying something. So go ahead.
Oh no, I just lost it. So
older that happens. It goes out the door. It's like so somewhere else. It'll come back. But I was gonna say, I wrap this up. So I ask you, Dwayne. It just must feel gratifying to complete something. So I mean, how do you feel after all of this? We've done a couple of interviews now with this movie. How do you feel?
I'm not satisfied yet. And the reason is because they probably knew I was going to say that. I'm not satisfied yet because I feel like I still have to do it for them. And there's certain things that I need to accomplish. until I'm satisfied. So that would be number one, getting them seen into in a festival setting, and number two, distributing it so that everyone can see, the great job that they've done. So that's where I'm at right now. So I won't be satisfied until, everybody gets their kind of due for what they did. And thank you again, James, for starting that and giving them the opportunity to shine, and and in these interviews and stuff like that, because people need to see them. They're very, very talented, all of them. And I'm very blessed to have worked with all of them, and that they've accepted even to be in my project. So
we
love you, D.
And I love you guys. No, it's
we love you, James.
I love it. It's just a
group hug.
I love you, man. But I've just noticed from everybody. I knew Landra, of course, already from Sunder. But meeting everybody in this group, it's a testament to you and your leadership and the energy you called into your job. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Because we call people into our lives. So you called these people into your life.
Facts.
I love that.
Thank you.
Yeah, bring that bell. Absolutely.
Yeah, the bell.
That's beautiful. That was a good note to end on.
That's perfect. But that's true. I think it's true. It's true. You called them into your life. So everybody, VEX the movie. It's going to be. We'll give you more information as it comes out further out. We'll give you more information. We're going to get you a little excited. The trailer is out. You get the trailer where?
On YouTube right now. Just put in YouTube VEX official trailer, and it should pop up. You'll see me and Mark staring at each other. That's the thumbnail. And you'll get to see Ryan and Lott in there looking all mean and doing some, crazy looks in there.
Yes. I'll make sure I post it on my page. And folks, thanks for being on the show. Three of you guys, of course. My new village people. I love it. Village people, village members, like that. I don't know. YMCA, something like that. Ryan, tell folks where they can find you on the interwebs.
You can find me through my management, Avenue B Talent. That's where they post most pictures of me because I have too much of a fragile personality to have my own social media account.
You don't have like Instagram or any of that kind of stuff?
It's through Avenue B Talent. Yeah, it's my manager posts all that stuff. You can find me through there. Eventually, I'll start posting stuff under my production, Harlan Shaw. But yeah, until then, Avenue B Talent or Ryan M Shaw. With a period, plug it in, and I'll pop up on stuff.
That's scary. Law, what are you doing?
Some websites, some background search results,
Okay.
Nothing too villainous. Nothing like my characters, I promise, for the most part.
Now, Law, where can they find you on the interwebs?
Anywhere for the most part at Law Sturdivant, LAWSTURD as in David, IV as in Victor, AMT. You see my face. I also changed my name. We artists always reinventing ourselves, so you see Zaire as the same person.
Oh, Zaire. I like that name. What does that mean?
Thank you. What does that mean? It means keeper of waters or keeper of rivers.
I've heard that. No, I love that name. And Mr. Dwayne Parker, I know where I can find you, but where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram at VEX the Movie, Nights at Night 7 Productions, and at Who is Dwayne Parker. You'll find me on Twitter at VEX the Movie and at Night 7, and my website night7.com.
I was asking.
Oh, and Facebook. I just made a Facebook account for this. VEX Movie.
Okay.
I've been avoiding Facebook for so long, but I finally made one. It's at VEX the Movie.
Okay,
on
I'll
Facebook.
I'll make sure I follow it. I'm in that. And again, who is Dwayne Parker? Don't answer. It's fine. Save it. So we'll find out later who Dwayne Parker is.
Thank you, Ben.
Right. And folks, you can follow me where all James Lott Juniors are sold at James Lott Jr. and all social media platforms. Just type in my name and like Ryan, I'll pop up. I may pop up at your home. I may show up somewhere. I have a million projects going on. And I have a new album coming out on May 10th called Safety in Numbers with the Third Dimension. That's coming out.
Nice.
I'm very excited. 10 songs on my birthday. So it'll be coming out on my birthday. So
I'll pick up a copy.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. Support. Got you.
Thank you. I appreciate that, everybody. And of course, this show is on every streaming service you can think of. So, hello, podcast listeners. Go anywhere and find us, follow it, like, subscribe, comment. Everything from Spotify to Apple to Google to Spreaker to Deezer, to everything. So, go ahead and like that. And this video is on my YouTube channel, JLJ Media. Be kind and hit that subscribe button. I mean, please just do it. Please do it for me.
Subscribe, everybody.
Yes.
We'll come for you.
Subscribe,
Vex will come for you.
Yes, exactly. So subscribe to that page. You'll see all my interviews, including the other VEX interview that I did with the other cast members of the show. So you want to watch both of them because it's such a great film. We get to know the actors behind the scenes. And everyone, please, I know it's a strange time period. Stay safe and as sane as you can.
Yes.